Hi, I'm here to introduce you to BrakeSafe, our visual brake stroke indicating system, as well as diagnostic tool for air brake systems. Metal bracket attaches to the stud mounting bolt in the brake chamber, replacement clevis pin, pre-measured goalpost here to the 3 legal limits of 1 3/4 inches, 2 inches, and 2.5 inch long strokes. Strictly from a stroke standpoint, build the pressure 90-100 pounds, release the parking brake, turn the engine off, and with a full brake application, the red pin indicator should sit between those 2 goalposts. You know your brakes are within compliance. If the red indicator pin sits outside the goalpost, your brakes are out of adjustment, and therefore you're subject to being fined or being put out of service depending on how many brakes are out of adjustment. Release the brakes, goes back to the start position. That's strictly from a stroke standpoint. So again, in adjustment, out of adjustment. Very simple. However, BrakeSafe also has a number of diagnostic capabilities because of the way that the system works off the pushrod movement. BrakeSafe can identify faults such as weak or broken parking brake springs, which are normally difficult to find unless you're particularly looking for it. With a good spring application, the red pin indicator will sit approximately halfway between those 2 goalposts. That gives you approximately 50 to 60 pounds with a good spring. With a weak spring, it only moves the red pin indicator a little bit. Broken spring, it doesn't move it at all. Again, because BrakeSafe works off that pushrod movement, that's how it can identify different faults in the foundation brake system. Apply the brakes, release the brakes, and if the red pin indicator still sits there, you know that brake chamber is hung. It hasn't released. So why is it not releasing? This is where the system comes in to play on the diagnostic side. So now maintenance can take a look and see why it's not releasing to the start position. Apply the brakes, and the pin doesn't move, but just stays there. You have a non-activating brake chamber. And again, this is a diagnostic part of the system. Why has that push rod not activated? What's making it not activate? Therefore, it allows maintenance to now diagnose why is that push rod not moving, why the brake's not actuating. If everything is working correctly in the foundation brake system, apply the brakes, release the brakes. This is your start position, always if everything is working correctly. If the red pin indicator stops short of that first goalpost, then you may have a weak return spring, there may be a binding linkage, there may be an air pressure loss, there may be something that's not allowing that push rod to fully retract. So again, another diagnostic tool of BrakeSafe. So in other words, what BrakeSafe is, it's another tool for maintenance people as well as for drivers to identify different faults. It's a one-time investment. Once you put it on that truck or trailer, it's going to stay there. The only time you'd ever have to do any work to it is if you change the brake chamber out. Other than that, it's a very simple, effective tool, and in fact, one of the keys of this product is that it is built truck tough. It's in all types of environments. BrakeSafe has been installed on everything from snow plows to salt spreaders to cement mixers, ready mix trucks, sanitation, over the road. You name it, BrakeSafe is on it. So from that standpoint, we feel very confident that once you try the unit and see how it works, you'll be sold on our product. As a quick recap, visual brake stroke indicator, in adjustment between the 2 goalposts, out of adjustment if you exceed that second goalpost. So again, quick visual lets you know whether your brakes are in or out of adjustment. Weak or broken parking brake springs. Good spring action sits approximately halfway. Weak spring, it only moves the push rod a little bit. Broken spring is not going to move it at all. A hung brake, apply the brakes, release the brakes, pin doesn't move, you know you have a hung brake. Again, going back to the diagnostics. Apply the brakes and the red pin indicator doesn't move, you know you have a non-activating brake chamber. So again, that's just a quick recap. In addition to that, we said earlier that this is always your start position, that first goalpost. If you stop short of that first goalpost, again, why has it not released? Maybe there's a weak return spring, there may be a binding linkage, there may be an air pressure loss or something else that's not allowing that push rod to fully retract. So those are the diagnostic capabilities of the product. as well as the brake adjustment being in or out of adjustment.